Okay, good evening. So let us start today's session. So yesterday we went through chapter 2, introduction to purchasing and purchase requisition, how to create a purchasing info record and how to change a purchasing info record, and also how to create a purchase requisition and how to convert
जो
the
6 लोग हैं वेट करते हैं थोड़ा.
yes.
6-7 लोग हैं, थोड़ा वेट करते हैं. एक 15 तक.
Okay, we will wait 1 or 2 minutes. Later they can see, it's no problem. They can wait and they can see on the YouTube if someone is joining there. Okay, so we will start. Yesterday we went through this chapter number 2, how to create a requisition, and the subchapter was which we did not cover. It was how to convert to the purchase requisition or to the purchase order. Okay, so once the purchase requisition has been created, then the next process is how to convert the purchase requisition to a purchase order. So this can be accomplished or this can be achieved from transaction code MB21N, which you will enter in the initial screen of the SAP. Once you enter this T code MB21N, then there are the below steps which you have to follow to create a purchase order. Okay, so here the first thing is below the document overview, you can see this in the type of the PO. So basically every time it is standard PO which will be created. For example, as I explained you earlier, if you want to create a PO which is framework or which has yearly contract basis, so you can select here and you can select drop down the list and you can select a framework PO. Here the purchasing organization, this complete data, these three data set will be by entered by default. You know, this data will be available in the SAP by default, and which is being maintained by your organization in whichever you are working. So step number one is you enter the transaction code. Two, you select the type of PO. Three, you enter the data, the organization data, and in step four, you will enter the purchase requisition number, which was created, you know, in the initial state by bill of materials or manually. It can be both cases. So in this, you can just create a purchase requisition. In Okay, just give me 5 minutes. Okay, sorry, I was on the other call. So let us continue. Now, the step two is the selection drop down. After you drop down a standard purchase requisition, so you will select the standard PO, framework PO, whatever it is. After that, step three is entering the data. Then step four, you will enter the purchase requisition number. This number, as I told you, it can be created manually or it will be by the bill of materials. Whatever is the requirement from the company, they will have list of materials. In this case, for an example, we have a requisition which was created for a TV, okay, 40-inch TV. So here, once we will have a unique purchase requisition number, this purchase requisition field in the SAP. After you enter ME21 in, you will see this field on the data. So you have to enter the requisition number here. So the PO quantity, you can see the PO quantity rounded to 2 pal. Whatever the quantity entered, saved, whatever the net price is saved. So once the purchase requisition is entered and when you click it on the enter or when you execute, then it will automatically pick up all this data. Okay. So it will take up the material number, the short text from the material master, the quantity which was requested by, and the net price. This will be there. So 1 and 2 is automatically entered by the system. Okay, so here save the PO and you have finished converting into the purchase order. So, okay, you can save, then you will have a purchase order number created. Here we also have many fields to be completed. So that will come up in the next chapter. Here we can see. Okay. So in this chapter, after the quotations, then in this purchase order chapter, then we will see the each field, how it has to be created. So we were here, sorry. So 84. Okay. So that will be covered in the next step. Okay, so let us go to the next chapter. So the next chapter after the purchase, in chapter 2, we went through the purchase and purchase requisition and creation of the info record, how the each material or each master data will have info record, what are the details to be maintained in this. Okay. So let us go to chapter 3, how to create a quotation. What is RFQ? RFQ is request for quotation. Quotations are Quotations are requested from the vendors, okay, to provide us information about their price, terms, conditions, schedule, delivery, other information in order to select the best route for procurement. So if you need to procure something from any particular vendor, then you need to ask for the quotations from the source or the suppliers or the vendors. Suppliers, source, vendors, all three terms are same. So quotations need to be acquired before a purchase order has been purchase requisition has been converted to a purchase order. So first is RFQ. RFQ is request for quotation, then quotation processing. You will select the supplier. Comparison. Comparison is nothing but you if you have three or more prices. For example, each item in this case, which we are showing you as a sample, if you have a TV of 40-inch, if you have three companies, Sony, Samsung, and any other third company, so company ABC, then you will select a best source as per the requirement of the project. Then in the final, you will see the source list generation. This is the decision for which the PO will be converted. So how the creation of RFQ is done. So in this RFQ, it is being created in the T code which will be used in SAP's ME41. Each function has separate code. So for the source, it is ME41, which has to be used to create a purchase requisition. So RFQ type, it should be standard. It can be standard RFQ or it can be special or long-term RFQ, anything possible. And languages is obviously, it will be used as default language, English. Then RFQ data, what data has to be there? It has to be the date. Okay, I think this is date. There is a mistake here in the printing. So it is RFQ date. Date will be entered for the RFQ and deadline. For example, this RFQ is specific and it will expire after a specific time or date. Then you will enter the time of the RFQ when it is going to expire. For example, it will not be valid after 1 month or 2 months. Then you need to take the quotation again from the supplier. Purchasing organization, for which company or which division you are going to procure. Purchasing group is the number itself or the buyer. For example, each unique buyer has his own purchasing group. Item category, delivery date, plant storage location, and requirement tracking. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, so let us continue. So item category is default as a blank, then delivery date. So on which date you require to deliver this material. So also the plant and storage location, it will be by default, which is being created by the company. So all these fields, this step, okay, from 1 to 10, whatever the data which I explained, it is here. So it is a type and each, it has to be selected on each field, you have to select it. So once this all data has been filled, then you will press enter on the screen, then it will go on to the next screen. So this data is the header data. And the next screen is validity range. Enter the range of the validity of the information. So it can be as collective number, or if you like it is like the bid. For example, the RFQ is like bid, then you can enter the deadline for the bid. It will be number of days, or also it can be time. Both can be considered. So target value, for example, RFQ, once it is been created, so you can also provide a target price of the supplier. Okay, once you be created. Okay, here we have this icon. This can be inspected. What it is showing here, that we should inspect the toolbar to see which screens can be called by using these icons. Okay, toolbar, you will find vendor address button when you can enter the vendor information. So, for example, when you need to send this RFQ, you will just enter the vendor number here, vendor name. So here to just to show you an example, it is mentioned as vendor one, but in the practical term when you are working, you can enter his name, okay, then his search term. If you want to search him in the future, how you will search, so enter it here. Then obviously his address, his city, and time zone. This can be selected. The PO box number, company postal box, everything can be there. So here you can also see the other icons, which is you need to enter the material number, what you will buy from this supplier, the quantity, how much you will buy for this item. Here, the example again is the TV. So, example, we are going to buy this TV from this vendor number one. Okay. Then we will enter the quantity and delivery date when we are expected to deliver it. Once you click on save, after this is the save button. Okay. Once you click on the execute or save button, uh, then you will get a unique number from 6 series or whatever the series is. You will get a unique number for this. After you have created this requisition, so in future this number can be used always for this RFQ. So also it can be just displayed if you want to see what information is everything right or everything is correct information which you have entered. You will use ME43N. And also, if you want to edit information, you can use ME42. Okay, so let us go to the next. Once you create ME47, the next step is using different documents. So ME47, see this unique number, we will enter it here. Once you enter ME47, then you will enter RFQ, will have this. So if we enter this unique number, so again, next step, we have to maintain this data. First is the RFQ quantity, the delivery date, net price, or unit of measure or storage location. The fourth step will be default. You don't need to enter. It will be picked up based on this material code. So you enter the quantity for this item from this vendor, how much you will buy. Then item 5 here. In the 5, in the small icon here, it will be presenting the following things. You may change it appears. So here, maintain quotation data. The short text is based on the material, and expediting is nothing but -1, 1, and 7, that you are expect to be monitored for the delivery. So reminders will be sent based on this. So this is 7 days, this is 1, and this is -1. So tracking number and vendor material number will be this. So this is the net order price which is shown here. The net price will be 1,200. This is the target price which will be there in this RFQ. Okay, for the next step, just hold on. So okay, so next step will be this screen. After this, this is a header. If you want to change the general header, click on the hat icon. If you want to change some information which is already entered, it can be changed in the header icon of the RFQ. Here, if example, if you are, if it is purchased from the foreign other than outside the other country, you can maintain the exchange rate for conversion of the currency. Okay. Here, this option is to click. Once you click on this, the exchange rate is will be fixed, because if you buy from your own country, the currency will be on the fixed rate. There will be no exchange, so it can be fixed. So payment terms is nothing but when we will pay the supplier, what will be the terms. For example, you will pay after 10 days, 15 days, 60 days, 70 days, whatever you agree with the supplier. This information can be entered here. Okay. See, even the reference data, for example, quotation date when this quotation was requested. For example, for your reference, if you have any information which has to be entered in this field for your future reference, you can enter it here. The salesperson is obviously from whom you are going to deal for this product for the TV which you will buy. There will be one salesperson for the each supplier, so he will be. You can enter his name and enter the quotation. So in future, when you want to see this information, it will be visible for you. Other these dates are already explained. So if you want to change after getting the quotation, if you wish to change the price, for example, you requested one price and you got some other slightly high price or low price, then it can also be changed in the condition tab. Once you click on the condition, for example, here, this is, editable field. It can be edited and it can be changed. So here, once you do everything and you press this, then you will get the same reference as the quotation is saved for this material. These are the collective purchase requisitions. So, okay. So what you did here is you saved for the two suppliers. Uh, you saved it for vendor one and vendor two. Okay. Same process you did it for example, if you do it for vendor three also, then after that, just to compare, you can enter ME49N in the field. Then it will be shown something like this to you. This is price comparison in the euro currency. For example, one quotation. Okay, this will show you the overall like summary. So vendor one is nothing but valuation price for LCD TV 40 inches 106, and this is 107. Price per unit. Okay, this is the price and this is the total on the value. The value, if you see, this is the total quotation value, or this is 25,600 and 25,800. So obviously 25,600 is the cheaper one. So you can select, maybe this is high, but it has good quality. So it is based purely on the person who is creating a PO. He will decide which one to select. So this is price comparison list. So collective RFQ can be entered here surrounding the purchasing organization. Once you enter, like example shown here, if you enter vendor one and vendor two here, and then you press this execute button, then you will see. See, you have to click this three terms, include delivery cost, include determine effective price, just to compare and to do the work analysis for which vendor you will be proceeded. Okay, this selection was shown in the previous one. See, minimum. So here it will show you, this, for example, vendor one, two, mean and minimum. So this is showing as this is 25,800 is the minimum and 25,2 is the mean, the little bit higher than what the comparison is. So as I explained you, whichever it is the best condition or the best possible vendor for this particular TV, you will select based on that vendor. Okay. Maintaining quotation item. So if you want to maintain the quotation item or if you want to finalize this item, So there is option of updating the info update. Info update is nothing but the information can be updated for this particular material code. Like if you want to change the price for this, can be updated the tax code. If this is taxable by the government, it can be entered here. Rejecting the quotations also, this can be done through. You should step back and report since. So it can be also the rejected quotation can be maintained in the system. So that in future, if you have three quotations and two are rejected and one is approved, the other two can be marked as rejected so that whenever you this is the mark which is used for the rejected quotations. So by this mark, you will understand that okay, we had quotation from three suppliers and only two suppliers were approved and the third one was rejected because of some price variance or price was high for this. So okay, so today's class was short because 30 minutes only, because there are other things which needs to be done. So anyhow, we have covered a good number of chapters. We are in the chapter 3. Okay, we finished quotations. And in the next class, which will be next week Saturday and Sunday, then we will go to chapter 4. This is very important chapter. So this chapter 4 will be covered and it will also take time. So next two classes will be on the purchase order, how to create a source list and how to create a purchase order, how to create purchase order with reference and how to create. We will cover chapter 4 in next class. So make sure you make sure you attend the next class for the questions regarding the RFQs and quotations. We will take it on the group. Just ping me on the group or you can ask me in the next class because today the time is limited. So in next class, we will take up the questions. Also, we will see what we have covered in the previous 3 classes. Next class, we will go to the purchase order. Okay. Fine, then thank you everyone for joining. Next class will be in detail about how to create a purchase order and what will be the purchase order process, how it has to be created, what will be the screen navigations. We will explain in the next class. Okay, next class will be on next Saturday, and the time will be updated same in the group as it was today. Okay, thank you for joining and